Good morning and welcome to the Kennesaw State University ESOL Conference. This is one of my favorite conferences of the year and one that I have lots of experience with as a former Title III director. I always love sending teachers and leaders to this conference because I know that there's just key takeaways that help you to get right back into the classroom and impact the lives of your boys and girls. As I get started this morning, I want to give you a quick summary and update of EL data that you might find useful. But don't worry, I'm going to move quickly through this data, but you're going to get a copy of my slide deck. So just sit back and listen, and then we'll share this slide deck with you, and you can reference it at a later date. Let's talk a little bit about Georgia's growing EL population. You can see the trajectory from 2019 to 2023, and some of you are sitting out there nodding and saying, yes, this exactly represents my own classroom. So no doubt we need to be thinking about who our EL population is and how we can best serve them. This shows you the top 20 school systems and their EL population. You can see that Gwinnett County is our highest population of EL students, all the way down to Muskogee County at number 20, who has 4%. Let's look at our languages. Most of us often think about maybe one or two languages because those are the languages represented in our classroom. But on this slide, it represents all the students and the multiple languages that are actually in all of our Georgia classrooms. So as we can tell, there are specific things that we need to think about in order to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our EL learners. Our EL learners also don't always just sit in one classification. Often our EL learners certainly are served in regular education classrooms, and they're also served in ESOL segments, but they also may be served as special education students and as gifted students. And that's important to think about as you plan your instruction for their teaching and learning in the classroom. So let's think a minute. Are our EL students learning English? So based on our WIDA data, we can see that our EL exit and reclassification rates have been kind of up and down over the last couple of years. So this just gives us a snapshot of one piece of data that we can use to guide our instruction and our planning for our EL students. This slide represents our English learners and their progress toward English proficiency. And you can see what is represented by our elementary, our middle, and our high. And this data is really important for us as we sit back and we really think about the language acquisition of our students. Then we move into thinking about if our EL students are learning our content. And this is measured by our Georgia Milestones Assessment and our CCRPI Content Mastery. So on this slide, what is represented is our EL subgroup performance in ELA. And you can see that the green represents our high school students, the pink our middle school students, and the orange our elementary students. So you can see this trajectory here as it represents our 2023 data. This is another way we can look at this to see if our EL students are meeting our content mastery target scores. You can see what's going on for elementary, middle, and high as it relates to ELA. Again, I'm going to move through these quickly, but you will have this slide deck that you could go back and look specifically at content areas. I would encourage you to compare the state level data with your district level and even your school level data. That could help you to pinpoint and to more specifically figure out what interventions or what additional support might be needed for your EL students in your respective classrooms. Here's our data as represented by math. You will see our beginning learning, our developing learner, our proficient learners, and our distinguished learner. And that moves us to this slide where we can see our content mastery score targets. You can see in math, our EL students are performing and meeting those targets. We can look at what's happening in science. Again, you can see the breakdown by each school level, by distinguished, proficient, developing, and beginner. And this shows us what's happening with our content mastery scores so that you can see in science, we might need to look at some of that academic language, that vocabulary, their ability to make those connections in the science classroom. Here you can see what's going on with our social studies EL subgroup performance. Again, you can see that this is represented by middle and high school since those are the areas in which our students are tested for milestone assessment. And then we can look at how our students are meeting those targets in social studies as well. Again, you can see here that our students aren't performing and meeting those targets at the same rate that they are in mathematics. So there's opportunities for us to consider. But the good news is you're going to have our EL content specialist here with you, and you'll be able to sit in some of their breakout sessions, and they're going to actually bring you resources, opportunities, ideas, and things that you can consider taking right back into your classroom so that we can make sure that we're meeting the needs of our EL students in all content areas. Do you know where to go? And do you know who to ask for additional supports and resources as you are planning for instruction in your classroom? There is a platform that is available to you. It's called our Georgia Connect Suite. And within that platform, it is truly a one-stop shop. Now, if you were with us last year, you know that I shared some information about Inspire and Suitcase and things that were beginning to be available in 2023. Well, the good news is the resources continue to grow, and these resources are easily accessible. They are aligned to Georgia standards, and guess what? They are completely free for you as educators. So let's do a quick run through. There are 4 key components of our Georgia Connect suite. The first one is Georgia Learns. This is where there is opportunities for you to have on-demand professional learning. You can sign up, you can move along in modules at a self-pace, and there's a variety of topics, including some modules that can help you if you're interested in learning more about the science of reading and literacy training, more about assessment, more about gifted students. Maybe you want to learn more about computer science. Guess what? There's modules for that as well, because your EL students, they're engaged in all those levels and areas of learning. So if you want to get some professional learning that you can do in real time on your own pace, make sure you check out Georgia Learns. Also, you can go to Suitcase. Suitcase is the application that holds all of our standards. It makes it easy for you, especially those EL teachers who you teach multiple grade levels and multiple content areas. You need to get very familiar with Suitcase. You can type in your content area. You can search by keywords. Maybe you're trying to plan some lessons for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and those students range in a variety of grade levels. You can actually type in a key word, and you can find standards and where they start in kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. Also in Suitcase, that's where you'll find the associations with the WIDA standards. So you're planning for your EL students in the general ed classroom. You can quickly and easily make those WIDA associations. So you can also focus on the language acquisition within the context of the content. How cool is that? That while you're planning, you can make those notes, you can pin those WIDA associations or the standards, and it just makes it so much easier and seamless for you to spend more time on teaching and less time on searching and the planning process. Georgia DOE Community. If you are not signed up for Georgia DOE Community, you are missing out. Join a community that is a community of learners that's focused on some of the same topics that you're interested in. It's a great way to have immediate access to all the new resources that are being released. You'll also find guidance and support documents. And the best thing is you'll be able to connect with other educators. If you live in Bainbridge, Georgia, like me, you actually might make a friend and be able to plan and collaborate with a group of teachers in North Georgia or East Georgia or Middle Georgia. The cool thing about this is there's an opportunity for us to collaborate, to share, and to learn from each other. And then Inspire. That is absolutely my favorite platform. That's where you're going to go for videos, curriculum map, instructional resources, supports, just a plethora of materials that can augment and support teaching in all content areas for all grade levels. And let me tell you a secret. Those resources are being added to on the weekly basis, so there's always something new. For you as teachers can go and get resources that are aligned to Georgia standards. I like to say they're Georgia grown, they're Georgia owned, and they've been vetted. And guess what? They're totally free. But you can trust these resources that they meet the intention of the standards. All the Georgia Literacy Academy is available to you. There are 10 modules. Here's a QR code that can walk you through a guidance manual. But we're also working on some additional modules and supports that will help you specifically to be able to think about teaching reading to EL learners. So while those are not available yet, we are looking at those, and we are making plans to provide some additional supports that focus on the new ELA standards and the literacy work so that we can better meet the needs of our EL students. So stay tuned. Go ahead and connect to Inspire, because when those become available, you'll be one of the first to know. Maybe you're saying, well, April, that sounds great, and I'm really glad you're giving us the QR code, but I need a little more support in helping me to unpack how to use Suitcase and Inspire. Well, I am glad you asked, because if you go to Godot Community or you go to the Godot Professional Learning Catalog, you will be able to find webinars that you can register for that fit your schedule, and you can have in-depth training and someone to walk you through and teach you how to maximize the use of each of these platforms within the Georgia Connect suites. What you'll see are March dates available, but we're always adding new dates, so I just encourage you to check back and sign up for a PL event that fits your schedule. Don't forget about Georgia Home Classroom. This is a great resource form that gives you learning plans, videos. I love the Getting Ready for School parent guides. Those are written in parent-friendly language. They're also available in English and Spanish. And I promise if you have not discovered those, you're going to think that's the best takeaway of today. And Classroom Conversations podcast, want to hear from other educators, including EL teachers. There's a podcast for you. I encourage you to jump on, learn from your colleagues, learn from the experts in the field. There are over 50 episodes available, and they are timeless. So even if there was a video that was released, let's say 12 months ago, it still has an important takeaway for our classrooms today. I bet this is going to be a resource that you're going to be excited to make available and help your students know more about it. Georgia Tutor. This is available for our high school students, free tutoring for students in 19 core courses. And you got it, you have another QR code. And when you're looking at the slide deck, we even have included a Georgia Tutor demo video that will help you to help your students to register themselves for tutoring sessions on their own schedule after hours to help with that homework. So let me close with this. As a teacher, how can you plug in? Make sure you know about the Georgia Connect Suite. Be involved in community. Make sure you sign up for some professional learning in Georgia Learns. Dig into Suitcase and find your standards in the WIDA associations. Be inspired by the resources and supports that are available to you free of charge. And don't forget to check out the Georgia DOE Professional Learning Catalog frequently. There's new things coming to you every day. And guess what? If you don't see what you need, drop us an email and we will do our best to meet you where your need is. Don't forget to check out your RESAs. They offer professional learning and support opportunities as well, and connect with a professional organization. They can keep you informed, engaged, and provide you with connections to additional resources. Always feel free to reach out to Dr. Meg Baker and Noel Wilkinson. They are your ESOL team help desk, or you can reach out to the DOE Content ESOL team. We have representatives for ELA, math, science, and social studies, and they will be with you today and tomorrow, and they will be bringing you specific details and resources and ideas and support for respective content areas. So with that, I hope I've left you with a few nuggets that you're going to explore a little bit more. Come back to the slide deck, check out a QR code, and let me leave by saying this. Thank you, teachers. You are where it makes the difference for our students. And when you can take these resources, when we can work together collaboratively, then we can make a meaningful impact for our students in our EL classrooms. Thank you for all you do, and I wish you a wonderful year.